live in a metal bucket. And then sometimes I see the commander and fuck him. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. You are listening to episode number 46. On this show, we like to talk about comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, political discourse, and pretty much kind of every week, Star Trek.
It's true.
I am your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is Midget Radio, my murderous socialist friend.
Hello.
Hi, Midget Radio. How are you today?
Doing pretty well, Tactic Angel. How are you?
I am doing good. I have poured myself an extra tall glass of whiskey today. Are you drinking something?
I am, yeah. I am. In honor of wasn't Blue Sky Giant telling us yesterday about some weird fucking drink that was like a blend between Bullet Rye and Suntory?
He was. It wasn't actually, but that's what he was trying to describe.
Right. Why? In honor of that, I'm gonna try to finish my Bullet Rye. I don't have very much left of it, and then chase it with the Suntory.
That is a brilliant suggestion. I have decided to go for a red-headed stepchild. We're gonna call this the Writer's Tears. Writer's Tears is an Irish whiskey.
Nice.
It's what you should drink if what you write is hated by everyone because it's terrible. And completely unrelated to that, we will be talking about Star Trek Discovery today.
Yeah.
So, Star Trek Discovery. Airing first in 1966, Star Trek is the brainchild of Gene Roddenberry, who in the midst of one of the darkest and most dangerous eras in human history sought to give humanity a glimpse of a future that was optimistic, where humankind worked together for the betterment of each other and for themselves. Star Trek Discovery, which for reasons missed the 50th anniversary, and nobody can tell us why, takes Star Trek in a different direction in almost every way. Midget Radio, if you were to sum up Star Trek Discovery in one sentence, what would it be?
It doesn't feel like Star Trek. That's probably a reasonable enough sentence.
I would say not the worst thing ever, but close. Star Trek Discovery, at this point, we have talked about, I think it was the first 2 episodes. Maybe it was the first 3.
No, it was the first 2.
It was Battle of the Binary Stars and whatever the
fuck. Yeah.
Whatever the stupid episode name that came before that was.
The sheep cares not for the lamb's cry on the morning of its. It's something like that, I'm sure.
The butcher cares not for the lamb's cry. Anyway. In your opinion, Midget Radio, has the progression of the Star Trek Discovery episodes raised your hopes for the future of Star Trek? Has it lowered?
No. I don't know. I don't know what to expect, except for that it's probably going to be bad in the future. No.
So are you suggesting that Star Trek Discovery is not a good television show?
Star Trek Discovery is mostly a piece of crap. It sucks. It's, I think, kind of juvenile, and I don't know. You know, I want to say that, like, our first, I feel like, personally, at least, I gave this show every fucking chance that I possibly could. and it routinely failed to live up to even just competent storytelling, even just competent like science fiction storytelling. It just routinely failed to live up to even that much. So yeah, I mean, it's just a colossal disappointment, not only for the Star Trek franchise, but I don't know, our time, I guess, as well. it's just a bad show.
All right. So if it is a bad show, would you say that it is better or worse written than Warbirds?
Warbirds? I don't even know what the hell that is.
It was the Birds of Prey. That's what I meant.
Oh, wow. I'd say it's about on par. I don't know like if I had to pick one or the other. I like the people in Birds of Prey better. So, you know, there's that.
Birds of Prey, for those of you who don't know, was a very shortly lived DC TV experience. I think it had Batgirl and
Ashley Scott as Huntress. And then what's her face as Oracle.
Yeah.
And then what's her face as Dinah Lance or whatever.
It was it was not exactly considered quality.
No.
All right. I will say that I think you're probably about right. I want to say there are a couple of performances in this show that are better than average for Birds of Prey, but by and large, all of the characters on Birds of Prey are more likable, even if they are completely incompetent.
Yeah.
And incompetence is another problem that plagues almost every character on this show.
Yeah.
Particularly if you consider there's context regarding this series. Obviously, as another Star Trek series, it had a lot of baggage that came with it.
Yeah.
I'm getting the sense that you don't think that this quite lived up to the Star Trek experience.
No, God, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And I think, like, certainly in the last episode, but here and there, kind of sparsely throughout the series, there are, I think, ham-fisted overtures toward what like Star Trek is sort of supposed to be, or what is kind of attractive about it for its fan base. But they are so ham-fisted. And so I don't know, I think just kind of heartless a little bit. That it just feels sad. It feels like a show that is 30% aware of what like makes Star Trek great, and gives some, I guess, lip service to that, and everything else is just crap. I mean, it's just honestly just mostly melodramatic crap. That's the overriding thing that I see in this show. Over and over again, these hard left turns into just the most intense fucking melodrama. And it just sucks. It just sucks. There's no weight behind any of those scenes. It's just crap. It's
okay.
Flat.
To play off of that, there were several points where they're like, the people end the show on what they think is like this great curveball, like this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a plot twist. And it becomes, by the time they even do it, it becomes so laughably obvious that they're fairly terrible at their craft that it's just exactly what you expect. It's like, if I were in 5th grade and I were trying to write a plot twist, this is how I would do it.
Yeah. So,
and
yeah.
Wait an episode or two. I've got another one you will never totally see coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this series more than even actually I think most television shows seem to embrace, and this is actually the thing that I almost kind of halfway liked about it, but it's so bad and I can't stand the idea that it's supposed to be Star Trek that I just can't get on board. But so the melodrama, some of the flatly drawn characters, the ridiculous decision making, and just the absolute absurdity of the plot line, all of that together, it feels like kind of reading a comic book a little bit, like a series, like a comic series, you know, that you've been reading for like 20 or 30 fucking years, and you go and you try to explain to somebody else like what the story of the fucking like it's like trying to explain Cable's backstory in X-Men. It's fucking insane. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely goddamn asinine, and part of that is fun because of how absurd it is. This show feels like that, but it's not fun. It just sucks. Because the plot line, the plot for this first season is so fucking ridiculous. It is so completely ridiculous. That if it wasn't Star Trek, I don't know, maybe I would actually kind of enjoy part of it. But it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Over and over. Stupid.
Well, I think to your analogy that if you were to look at the X-Men history, there are the Chris Claremont years, and then there are the Matt Fraction years. And I think that we're solidly in the Matt Fraction era.
Well, he hasn't written the book for a while, but
all right.
There's been a number of
Vampire
writers.
Jubilee, as I recall, doesn't make you warm and fuzzy.
No, I don't like Vampire Jubilee.
And you know, if you go back and you watch Wrath of Khan, if you even go back to the melodramatic era of Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, all the great episodes in between, you go into the Next Generation that has some fucking stellar morality plays. You go into DS9, which has absolutely fantastic characters that we get to follow over years. This is melodramatic, cardboard cutout trash.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff to put out there that you need to consume if you're a person who really likes this, because I mean, like, literally the only reason the first time we reviewed this, I gave it 0 stars.
Yeah. And
spoiler alert, pretty much earned every one of those 0 stars.
Yeah.
And it's really the only reason I watched it is because I have seen every episode of Star Trek, and I wasn't about to let some fucking assholes who don't understand what's going on about Star Trek take that away from me. I've seen every one of these, and like by the end of it, it starts to get a little bit entertaining because like your expectations fall through like the bottom of the floor, and then start cratering into the earth. And at a certain point, it starts to become funny again. And we'll hit upon this. I had several laugh out loud experiences in this, and it wasn't because it was good or it was intentionally funny. It was because it was fucking retarded.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything in this show, or at least much of anything in this show, that is actually supposed to be funny. Maybe a few Tilly scenes here and there, but that's probably it.
It's pretty much Tilly, yeah. We'll hit on that. Midget Radio, would you like to talk about anything else before we get into the spoilery section of this review?
It's hard to talk about this show without getting into the spoilers. So, yeah.
All right, Midget Radio, on a scale of 0 to 0. How many stars would you give this show?
I think I'm going to at least give it 1 star. 1 star for one reason, really. It will get 1 star from me.
All right. I'm not changing my rating. This show is fucking trash. And if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't bother. And if you think that you should buy Star Trek Online. No, it's CBS All Access to watch this. Find something to do with your life.
Yeah.
Just like almost anything else would be better than committing yourself to watching this show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crap. It's crap. All right. I'm going to actually, because this is just going to be a fucking hate fest of an episode. Here's what I liked about this show. Jason Isaacs the entire time. I like Captain Lorca. I still like Saru. And about, I would say, 3/4 of the way through this season, I warmed up to the Discovery as a ship. Just seeing it. I was like, you know what? I like the design. I'm on board now. I like it. That's it. That's pretty much it.
That's fascinating.
Those are the things.
I will go back and I will say, I was never as negative on the Discovery as a design as a lot of people were.
Yeah. Neither was I.
I think the ship is just a ship. I think that naturally you're going to have a couple of space battles, and you get to watch that. It's action porn, great.
Yeah.
I don't mind the design of the ship. I became a little bit annoyed with it because it seemed to me to be incredibly dangerous. Like, if you were hanging out in the wrong hallway at the wrong time, you're going to get smashed by the door that comes down like the Vagrant in Dread. and Dread is not supposed to be the same thing as Star Trek. And I mean, I understand in a lot of ways, Dread is a lot more of an optimistic universe than what we watched.
Yeah.
Which is just astounding.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the spinning bits. I didn't like that it rotates. If it was just a ship that flew through space and it looked like it did, fine.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty well there. I think, and when I alluded to a few performances that were better than Birds of Prey, I basically did mean Lorca and Saru to a certain extent. There's a lot of terrible writing surrounding both of these characters.
Yes, there is.
And
nothing they can do about that.
A lot of inconsistency. That said, Isaacs in particular actually had some gravitas.
Yeah.
And pretty much everybody else, not so much.
No. It's a terrible show. It's just terrible. God damn it. Yeah, and it is just completely unconcerned with its characters. It doesn't give a shit. It really doesn't give a shit about growing or developing any of its characters. It doesn't care what they're thinking or feeling. It just does not fucking care about any of that stuff. It is so much more interested in stupid, bizarre fucking plot twists and plot lines than it is anything else. And it's just crap writing. It's just fucking crap writing. It is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's starship porn. It's crappy fucking popcorn science fiction. Yeah, it's just empty. It's just an empty, heartless show, I think. And I think that's what makes the sort of overtures toward what Star Trek is supposed to be all the more glaring and obnoxious. Because they're so on the nose. I mean, that we've got the series ending with Burnham giving her big fucking speech at, I guess, the Academy. I don't fucking know where. And she's like, we are going to go boldly into the unknown. And you're like, you don't mean any of this. All of this is fucking meaningless. You're never going to do any of this. That you don't you can that's what I mean by the fucking lip service to what Star Trek is supposed to be about. Like, yeah, you can talk about it, you can say it, but you won't ever fucking actually do it. You'll just give us one stupid asinine plot twist after another. And that's it. And that'll be season 2, probably.
At this point, though, if in season 2 the Xindi show up, it's going to mark a turnaround for the series because the quality would probably actually improve.
Yeah, maybe.
There were a couple of decent Xindi episodes.
Yeah, I guess so. I can't really. There's a lot of that's a blur, but yeah,
it's going to get blurrier by the end of this, buddy. It's going to get real.
What do you
hazy.
What do you want to start with? I mean, there's a number of things I just want to talk about the absurdity. Like,
do you want to go? I have an episode by episode synopsis written out.
Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know if we need to go through all of that. Good
I think
God.
it'll be fun.
There's
I think
a
it'll
million
be fun.
episodes of this show.
There are 14 or so.
Well, I want to talk.
15.
So before we do that, because some of the comments I have are going to be a little more comprehensive than that, or at least they're going to include more than one episode. The biggest thing for me, and this is just asinine plot bullshit. So, so her Ash Tyler, right? I can't believe I remember these names. He's boyfriend girlfriend with Michael Burnham apparently in this show. I mean, there's zero fucking chemistry between those two, but apparently they're boyfriend girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then he turns out to be a Klingon. And he turns out to be, it's Voq, right? That's his name, that albino Klingon from the first. Okay. So what the Klingons, or what Voq's girl Klingon girlfriend did, I guess he's kind of cheating on her with Michael Burnham. I never really
do you not remember her name, even though she was in 11 of 15 episodes?
No, I don't. What is it like? Oh, you know what? Isn't it like L'Rell?
It is.
Is that it? Yeah,
it is.
All right,
Yeah.
so L'Rell. So the plan was, we're going to take Voq and fucking bust his body up and turn it into a human being. And then and then also the thing we're going to do is take a consciousness from some human, maybe, and graft that right onto Voq's brain, because presumably Voq's brain is in his own fucking body that's been modified to be a human body, right? But for some reason, we're also going to take this human and like put his mind in Voq's brain. I mean, I shouldn't even have to go any further than that. What in the fuck? What in the actual fuck?
Should I stop you when it's when it starts to sound like just magic?
I mean, seriously, that's the kind of comic book level just fucking bullshit that I cannot believe is in this show. And if it was just a stupid like comic, then maybe I would actually enjoy it, right? Like Psylocke, oh, that's a British lady, but now she was like downloaded into a Japanese body. I don't fucking know why, but now she's like that. She's Japanese, does whatever. Who gives a shit? It's great. But this is just fucking insane. That on top of the fucking spore drive, on top of fucking everything else in this goddamn series, it's just ludicrous. You can't put all of these things in one season of Star Trek. It's too much fucking horse shit all at once. I mean, that plan makes absolutely no fucking sense. It's just crazy. It is just crazy.
It's real hard to reconcile with actual Klingons, and certainly the characterization of Klingons in this show.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind how a race of people who are purely committed to evil would have spent this much time figuring out any sort of scientific endeavor that could allow that sort of thing to exist.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I don't understand really how the Klingons operate, but yeah, it's so weird too. It's such a weird decision for them to take when you're almost like, well, if you're going to do something that stupid, then why wouldn't you bring in the fucking whatever, the virus or whatever from Enterprise, right? Like they were developing this process to try to make Klingons look a little bit more human, and that's why there are flat forehead Klingons and fucked up forehead Klingons. And like, why wouldn't you just even try to attempt to bring that stupid explanation into this dumb storyline? Instead of just fuck all that, we did something completely different, and it makes even less sense than the
I don't know, and I'm gonna guess that you didn't warm up to the portrayal of Klingons at any point during the season.
No, it was no. I thought, again, I mean, trying to give the fucking season opener every benefit of the doubt. Do I like the idea of at least one house of Klingons being exceptionally fucking religious? Yes, and super ritualistic. I think that's fucking great.
Maybe even deformed.
Yeah, right? That totally fucking works. Yeah. Maybe they're in, yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. But no. The Klingons are just, they're all the same. They're all the fucking same. And they're all the same and completely different from any other Klingon you've ever seen in all of the rest of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's too much. It's too much to fucking deal with. The continuity aside, which is, and that's another thing. I mean, didn't they say all throughout this series, like, once we get to like that last episode, you're gonna see more clearly how this fits in with the rest of the franchise? And I'm at a loss. I am still just as fucking lost on that.
No. I will defend it.
Okay.
I will defend it.
Okay, cool. This should be fun.
They said Captain Pike.
Yeah, they did say Captain Pike. So that's true.
Therefore, everything is fine.
It's all good. It's all perfect now.
Did you see the Enterprise?
Yep.
I did, and I took my pants off.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking dumb.
It's so stupid. At first I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And there was like a small swell of excitement. And then you realize just immediately, oh God, what are they going to do? What are they going to do to Captain Pike in season 2 of this fucking show? And is Spock on that goddamn ship?
Even better.
What the fuck?
Actually, yes. Spock is the first officer on the Enterprise during the time that Captain Pike was on.
He cannot be on that ship. He can't be. Because the show can't do it. They can't fucking do it. They won't be able to handle it.
If we do want to go through the play-by-play, I will mention that if Spock meets up with Burnham,
yeah,
and sodomizes her, it will still not be the most morally reprehensible action that she takes in the series.
Yeah.
Not even by a long shot. Even if they were genetically related, it still wouldn't be the worst thing that she willingly does in this show.
Well, what's that? What's the worst thing?
We have to get through the whole thing.
Oh, God damn it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Episode 1.
Ugh.
The Shenzhou makes contact with the Klingons, an aggressive, mumbling race of space orcs.
Mm-hmm.
The Klingons are concerned that the Federation is a force so insidious and dangerous to their own survival that the Federation has willingly left them alone for over a half century.
Sure.
In spite of provocation, Michael Burnham, first officer of the Shenzhou, gets into a sword fight in space, then attacks her own captain so she can launch a preemptive strike against the Klingon ship.
Yep.
Turns out to be probably one of the better episodes.
I'm trying to think, actually. Yeah, it might be.
It blurs immediately into episode 2. My synopsis of that is they fight, Starfleet loses, Captain Georgiou is killed, and Burnham is convicted of treason and or mutiny by a dark and sinister council.
Yes. The Shadow Council of the fucking Federation. Where all cases are heard in the dark.
Not all cases that should be tried, but all cases that that are concerned with this series. God,
it was stupid.
it was so dumb.
Stupid. Yeah.
Episode 3. We've already talked about those two. We can talk about these as long as we want.
Oh God.
Episode 3. Yeah. Captain Lorca of the Discovery gets an extra killed so he can get Burnham on board the Discovery so that he can watch other people die trying to capture a demon that escaped from the Doom video game universe.
Yeah.
In fact, his motives may be different. Because though we knew another version of Burnham in a parallel reality, he is hoping that this version of Burnham is as violent and impulsive as Bizarro Burnham, which she totally is.
Yeah. So I gotta say about that episode, like the decision to fucking, it seems like basically blow up that fucking transport so that they could rescue Burnham and get her aboard the Discovery. I mean, always kind of a weirdly bizarre decision from Lorca. The reveal, though, that I do kind of appreciate that more, knowing what we now know about Lorca and Burnham in the fucking Mirror universe. Because then it's like, at least it feels in character. Like, now I look at it and it's like, all right, now I kind of get it. He would do something like that. So I can kind of get behind it a little bit.
I guess, but I think that's sort of lazy, miscellaneously evil, so therefore he doesn't care sort of rationale.
But no, I don't think so. It's more legitimate than that if you actually like, because Isaacs knows how to fucking like deliver a line. So when he's talking about like, what I liked about that character, which we only got this about an episode before they fucking kill him, is this weird like devotion to the idea of fate and destiny. I fucking loved all of that, and that he thought that like the universe was on his side and trying to put him in a place of control over the Terran Empire. That's all quality fucking character stuff. And then they kill him and we don't get any of it. So now, knowing that at least about Lorca and looking back on this scene with Burnham in episode 3, now I'm kind of behind it. Because now it's not just miscellaneously evil. Now it's him serving as a functionary of the universe, which is what he believes he is, to bring Burnham back into the fold so that they can go fucking take over the Terran Empire and depose Georgiou. That is good. You have to watch the whole series and then look at that in hindsight, which is why it's bad writing really at the end of the day. But there's still like there's still a good character moment that you don't get to appreciate really for another 17 episodes, and it's not fucking worth the time, but it's
thankfully it's not that long. We're going to come back to that because I'm not going to argue with you now, because I think there are a couple of speed bumps on the road of good character development that Lorca rolls over pretty rough.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that. I see what you're saying, and then at the same time, I think that his character is sufficiently inconsistent that at the end of the day, I just write it up to bad writing.
Okay.
All right. Episode number 4. Are we ready?
Yeah.
The crew of the Discovery try to figure out why the retarded guard is so awesome, how to use the spore drive, and Burnham opens a box. Also, the whole reason for trying to figure out the retarded guard is because it has magical claws and is impervious to weapons.
Yes.
But they have a technology that is capable of stabbing it. I would suggest that this entire episode would have been more efficient if they had just made the technology that they have that could clearly kill the retarded guard into an actual weapon to begin with.
Yeah.
Midget Radio, how did you like? I believe this is actually episode number 4, the longest named title in Star Trek history.
Is this so? This is when they figure out they can hook it up to the fucking spore drive with the robot needles and all that shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they have that walk-in shower with the
the
knives.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just they're just like it's just they just keep dumping bullshit on you as an audience member. You're like, all right, so I've had to deal with the fact that a first officer has committed fucking mutiny. Okay, out of nowhere, fine. Now also they have a spore drive that can take them anywhere in the universe. I've never heard of that before as a fucking Star Trek fan. And I don't understand how it runs off of fungus, but okay. Now you have to hook up a fucking hamster to it to make it work? I mean, this is when you're kind of filled up on bullshit in the start, and it starts kind of, spilling over the sides a little bit for me.
Oh yeah, it came early.
It's just getting harder. Like, it's just.
But they don't exactly turn the bullshit off, do they?
No, they don't. They don't let up on that fucking lever at all. But yeah, and this is also, I think, where you really start to see, like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on with the fucking Federation and this show, which is supposed to be called Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Episode number 5. Even though Scary Monster is scary, the crew of the Discovery bond with the monster and begin to wonder if repeatedly stabbing it is bad. But the creature is the only one that can cast teleport, so whatever.
Yeah.
Lorca is kidnapped by Klingons. He meets Dwight from The Office. He's captured by the Klingons long enough to grow a beard. They also meet Ash Tyler,
Thank God.
As you have already mentioned, is Voq, who we saw relatively healthy in the last episode of this same series.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ash is a person who's shrouded in mystery, mostly because his timeline doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
And he helps the captain to escape. Your opinions? What did you think of Fenton Mudd?
Ugh. I mean, I guess independent of this show, it's not like a terrible Dwight's fucking performance, or I guess Rainn Williams, performance of that character is not bad for like a modern take on Mudd. I'll say
modern
that
reinterpretation.
Much. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not necessary, but it's also not bad.
It's not knock it out of the park by any means either.
No, it's not. No. You know what I liked about that episode?
That it ended.
Yeah, well, that. But also, I kind of liked seeing Lorca in action. Because I really did actually like... Jason Isaacs was the only thing really about this show that was compelling from a performance standpoint.
I guess, but then at the same time, he's a guy who is so evil, he'll kill everybody on his own ship. And then he goes back for one fucking guy.
Yeah.
And this is like the first time you see the chink in the... Like, if you were to assume the writers all along were like, oh yeah, Lorca is evil Lorca.
Yeah.
And he's all of the ridiculous nonsense that we're going to see later in the series. He should never have gone back for Ash. Ash should never exist because, of course, his existence is predicated on magic that the Klingons cannot possibly understand.
Yeah.
Ash should not exist because the timeline doesn't make any sense, because clearly he was fine like a couple of days before this as Voq, and he's been also in this cell for what seems to be weeks or months.
Yeah.
And you have a corroborating witness.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah.
It's sloppy. It's stupid.
I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, I don't think there's anything about that that's necessarily contradictory to his character. I mean, I think you can say things, that he generally does that would seem to be that, like, human beings are supposed to be fucking complex.
You're talking about Lorca and not the timeline and the magic, right?
Yeah, Lorca. Yeah, not the
Okay.
rest of the fucking bullshit. No, from a character standpoint, I don't see anything too left field there. I personally don't, because you can see Lorca looking at Ash and being like, this guy's a fucking survivor and he's a fucking warrior, you know, and having some amount of respect for that, wanting to bring him into the fold. I absolutely can get behind that. I don't know that that's the writing necessarily. I think 99% of it is fucking Isaac's. But yeah, I can absolutely see a reasoning behind that. He doesn't have to be just like purely fucking evil the entire time, because then he wouldn't feel like a character. Then he wouldn't feel like a fucking person at all. And Isaac's, I think, manages to feel like a fucking person in this show.
Yeah, and
that's what I like about him.
Well, he is certainly a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, it's 98% him being a good actor. I don't know, man. It's shit like this where, like, almost it's stuff like this where, like, you have an actor who is surrounded by and given just atrocious fucking writing, and can rise above it. Like, that's where you see the art, I think. How much an actor's performance contributes to a show or a movie or whatever. It's amazing to see, I think, these guys just rise above this shit writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time layering praise on this.
I know I do.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself. So, episode number 6. Lorca's back on the ship. He sleeps with what's-her-face.
Oh, you know what?
Admiral.
I like her. Yeah, I actually like that actress, and I like her performance in this show.
Mostly, kind of. I agree.
I like her.
But she's mad at him because he almost discharges his phaser on her face.
Oh, yeah.
Burnham places psychic magic on Spock's dad and eventually rescues him. He was...
Oh, yeah, he was lost somewhere. I don't remember
Yeah,
why.
he was in space. Some fanatic blew up his shuttle pod, whatever.
Yeah.
Admiral Cornwell goes to meet the Klingons in Sarek's place.
Yeah.
And shocker, they take her hostage.
Yep. Did not see that coming. Wait
Yep.
a minute.
Totally unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, whatever. I had no strong thoughts on that episode. Except for the stupid fucking goddamn psychic magic. Because that's what Vulcans are now.
Yeah, they're space elves.
Mm-hmm.
They can cast gay ass quest on each other.
Yeah.
That's the major rub with this episode, because we saw it earlier in episode 1 or 2, the whole psychic projection mind meld nonsense.
Yep.
And there is some precedent to that, because they do say in TNG, because Sarek also mind melds with Picard and some other stuff with Bones and Spock, that there's, you know, side effects.
Yeah.
But it's never been like, you're 250 million light years away.
Yeah.
I'm going to Skype you.
I have just the walkie-talkie for that.
Yeah. That's a little dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 7. Harry Mudd returns with a time-traveling plot that has probably the most potential of any episode, if they didn't completely rush it and basically make it no fun at all.
Yeah.
In other news, Stamets and Burnham almost seem like people for an episode, and there's a party so that maybe you can actually have some fun in space.
Yeah.
Neither of these things we will see again during this season.
Yeah.
I actually came pretty close to liking this episode for moments at a time.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I hated this episode the most of the entire series. There's actually not another episode that I can think of while watching that I really like. I really wanted to kill myself watching this. I really thought like it was torture for a long time. And I don't know, man. If I had a deadly weapon in my house, I don't know if I would still be sitting here, because that made me want to die. The first part of that episode where you get the kind of stupid time travel plot, where it's basically just Harry Mudd repeating the same like fucking half hour or whatever, over and over and over, Groundhog Daying his way through trying to capture the Discovery so that he can sell it to the Klingons. Just, I was like, this almost feels like a Star Trek episode. Just like that by itself was like, this could actually be kind of fun. But then but then that they decided to use it as the vehicle to establish some kind of relationship between Michael Burnham and Ash Tyler. I wanted to just jam a screwdriver into my fucking face, because there's nothing between those two. There's nothing between those two, and they go about it in the most fucking bizarre way possible. For some reason, Stamets still retains all of his memories every time the time cycle repeats. Every time he's the Bill Murray in this fucking episode. And his whole fucking plan of action is to do nothing. is to engage Burnham to try to talk to Ash Tyler. That's it. And it's over and over and over again. And every time you're like, there's nothing between these two. There's nothing here. Stop fucking making me watch this over and over again. It just... I hate that episode so fucking much. It is the worst goddamn episode of this entire series. I hate that so much of the show somehow hinges on the fucking relationship between Tyler and Burnham. It is just garbage. There's nothing fucking there between those two. It sucks so bad. Tactic Angel, you're well aware of my feelings about the Communicator.
I am. Is this worse?
This is fucking by far worse. It is physically painful episode to watch. It is. I mean, seriously, if you want to fucking torture somebody, make them watch an episode where the episode itself just repeats sections over and over and over again, and they're fucking dull and lifeless. It's just... God damn it.
I can see that. I kind of okay, for one, I've only seen this once.
Well, me too, but
and the other thing is, like, there were points where, like, my issue is I hate Stamets. Like,
really, I hate him? I actually kind of like Stamets. I think, well, let me put it this way. I feel like Stamets is a character who, like, had potential and is just yeah, every time, every opportunity he could have to sort of shine, the script just shoves him back down.
I get that. But the thing is, like, he's just a fucking asshole in every episode up until this one. And it's just like, I don't like this guy. And like, for this episode, it kind of like felt like maybe he was coming out of that. And maybe also Burnham was going to be something other than a complete drag.
Yeah.
Because I know that we had talked about this. It was like, is Sonequa Martin Green a bad actor?
Right.
Or is it the writing?
Yeah.
And this is an episode that, like, she assumed a different tone of voice.
Yeah.
Because, like, in most of the... Okay, in basically every other episode of this, she has one tone of voice.
Yeah.
And that is, let's just say, dictatorial.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And in this one, she had kind of another one, which was, like, uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I was thinking maybe this is where she starts to become a character, but it's fucking not.
It's not. It's not.
And so, like, they don't really give you that sense in this episode that this is not kind of a turning point for the series. This is what is known as an anomaly. It was a concept that was completely capable of existing within a Star Trek universe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would have been interesting if it had been executed well.
Yeah.
And was burdened with characters and actors who are otherwise uninteresting and unable to deliver on any sort of quality worth watching.
Yeah. You know, that might be the actual problem with this episode, because it's an episode that is rife, as I think you are basically saying, it's an episode that's ripe with potential for like some actual, like some legit character focus, growth and exploration. And it absolutely drops the ball. It just completely fucking drops the ball and kicks it way the fuck over the fence where no one will ever be able to get it back. It totally fucking fails. It feels like the first episode that may have some potential for that. And they just trash. I mean, they just completely fuck it up. Maybe that's why.
I mean, like, if you think back to the Next Generation, there's an episode that's called A Matter of Time, and it has the actor who played Max Headroom, and he's posing as a 21st or 26th century historian.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, those little things, like, you could sense just a little bit of it, of that sort of inspiration here. Yeah. And then by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, it was just happenstance.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw there were phantoms of my own mind.
Yeah.
And of much better, more worthy Star Trek episodes.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I hate that fucking episode.
Also, I dislike this episode for its continuity inconsistencies. Star Trek characters do not get drunk. They drink synthahol.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Learn some fucking Trek. All right. Episode number 8. They do get drunk. Listener, I understand that when Scotty comes back to the Enterprise after he's been stuck on the Dyson Cube for 50 years in a transporter buffer, that he drinks actual fucking... I get it.
Yeah.
It's green. I don't give a fuck.
Romulan ale. Yeah.
But if you're serving shit on a Starfleet vessel, 99% of that's going to be synthahol.
Yeah.
It just tastes delicious, and it doesn't make Wednesday Night Gentlemen like episodes like last week.
True.
Or 2 weeks ago. But I don't remember the last week, so it was last week for me.
Perfect.
Episode number 8, perhaps the only episode that actually resembled a Star Trek episode in its presentation. The crew have an actual fucking away mission to a magical planet.
Oh, the Crystal Planet.
Where they hope to break the Klingon quote. Fuck this show. Klingon cloak technology. Saru likes this place so much because the spirits in the forest make him feel not like he's such a fucking bitch for once.
Yep.
So he tries to sabotage the war and kill all his crew members. He faces no consequences. What do you think of this episode, Midget Radio?
I was excited at the beginning, and then I was pissed off at the end. So
me too.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that like echoed the whole Michael Burnham's the only Starfleet officer who's ever mutinied. And you're like, until fucking now.
Yeah, until now. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Saru was intent on staying in that fucking planet.
Totally.
With the magic tower that made magic not cloakiness, whatever nonsense. I hate this episode.
It was like a communicate. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
I'm not going to dwell on it.
Do
you want to dwell on it?
No, I fucking don't. No.
Okay. So in order to save... Oh, this is episode 9. In order to save this fucking worthless mutineering planet, the Discovery wants to fight the Ship of the Dead. A Vulcan admiral says no. but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, props for playing a Vulcan who doesn't have the personality of a text-to-speech program, by the way.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I did like that guy.
Yeah, that dude had a little bit of personality. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was fucking forceful. I want to know more about him.
Yeah. You'll never see him again.
He'll probably be in the next one. He'll probably fuck it up. Just everything in this show has to taste like shit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Other than that, the only thing that happens is they fight the ship of the dead by warping an obscene number of times because they don't understand how to triangulate a position.
I know. I don't understand. I did not fucking get that at all. You're just like, it has to be like 100 million fucking times to warp, and then you get a signature, I guess, that'll defeat their fucking cloaking technology.
It was like 123
what the fuck
times.
are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a point in space, okay, triangulation is triangulation because you can do it in 3 points.
Yeah.
Now the thing is about triangulation is that we understand that it's going to be on not exactly a flat plane, but a predictably curved plane.
Right.
So the point is, like, if you were to have 4 points in space, as long as you didn't put all 4 of those fucking points on the same plane,
it made
you'd
no
be able
sense.
to do the same thing.
It made no sense.
It's just so stupid.
It is. Yeah. It didn't make any fucking sense. But whatever.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, what the fuck ever.
So they blow up the ship of the dead. After their victory, Stamets wants to quit being the retarded guard of the ship. So Lorca sabotages the system somehow, and they end up in the mirror universe.
Yes.
This was the mid-season cliffhanger.
Yeah. So, like, at this point, if you're like, you know what, I like this show, but I don't think it's melodramatic enough. Well, they finally they answered those people with the second half of this season.
Yes. This particular show I don't remember a lot of. This whole series is kind of a testament that the human mind blocks off traumatic experience.
That's true, yeah.
It tries to bury those things that it doesn't want to have to deal with. And thankfully, this show is a fuzzy memory of just miscellaneously retarded nonsense.
Yeah.
And I don't usually like to use the word retarded, but this is a really, really poorly written show. And I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Episode 10. The crew figure out they're in another universe, and it's an evil universe where Tilly isn't a fucking nerd. Yeah. So they spend some time LARPing as a bunch of teenagers playing evil D&D characters for the first time. Ash kills Stamets' boyfriend, who probably has a name.
Yeah.
Whatever.
God.
Then Lorca hands himself over to the evil Shenjo so that they will trust Burnham is back. She kills somebody in a turbolift who I guess we're supposed to care about, but we don't. And that's pretty much that show.
Yeah.
This is actually the point where I was like, the people who are writing this show are complete idiots. Because the way that they write evil characters is so blatantly over the top, just like, if you could imagine the most asshole-ish way to react right now, what would it be? And that's what they do. And that's totally what they're into in this universe. And it's also full of like preachy bullshit. And it's like people are evil because they fear each other. And it's like, no, people are evil for reasons other than simply fear.
Yeah.
Like, you do not understand the nature of evil if this is where the baseline is, and from the way that everybody's acting, I'm gonna guess that the people who are writing this really have kind of like an echo chamber understanding of the nature of evil.
Well, yeah, I mean it's This is where it gets hard to fucking even try to evaluate this show, because you can criticize and I mean, you can critique like how especially characters in the mirror universe are portrayed. But you're like, I mean, in the original series, mirror universe characters are just evil. That's all there is to them. There's nobody on that fucking side of the fence that has any kind of depth. They're just bad guys. That's all there is. So it's like, when you see this show try to actually grapple with that and it seems shallow and stupid, it's like, well, okay, I mean, maybe, you know, that's a little bit of how TNG kind of dealt with it, or TNG and TOS, and, well, I guess TNG didn't have any mirror universe, but TOS and DS9 kind of dealt with it that way. So I don't...
DS9, their characters were more complex.
Kira was a little bit, yeah, evil Kira was a little bit more... and God, evil Kira was a lot more interesting than anybody in this fucking show.
And as you're talking about this, I do want to interject, because this cannot exist in a vacuum. This show came out after Mirror Mirror, the Star Trek Continues episode, where
which was good.
Oh my
which
fucking
was
God,
really
it was good. And you see it and you understand like the fear structure. And how good people can be manipulated to do bad things.
That was the show. That was where, like, I hate to interrupt you, but like that's like the third episode of Star Trek Continues, and that to me was the episode where it's like, I mean, the first two episodes, you're like, these are pretty good and pretty competently well written, like TOS episodes, and just amazingly, just mind-blowingly well produced shows. And that third episode, the Mirror Universe episode, is the show for me that like rose above even the extremely amazing quality of the production and the competent writing that it had demonstrated up to that point. That episode was one that, like, there's some like real fucking legitimate talent behind that show. That's an absolutely amazing episode. Sorry, continue. That one really kind of blew me out of the water. Like,
and I will point out, as we both praise that episode, and knowing that DS9 also had Mirror Universe episodes.
Yeah.
When we start bitching about like inconsistencies in timeline and inconsistency in technology and the setting and whatever, we completely embrace that is a great episode of Star Trek, even though it kind of probably fucks up a lot of your understanding if it were canon of the DS9 stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, it does it in a way that's competent, and it makes a really good story, and it's completely forgivable because it is such a good story.
So good. Yeah. God damn, so good. Yeah.
When this series fucks up, it fucks up, and then it slathers a big layer of shit on top of it.
Yeah.
And it dresses it up, and it gives it a theme song and some fancy lighting and somewhat inconsistent, but generally higher than average production quality.
Yeah. It feels like that, and that's the fundamental issue with this show. It fails on even just a basic level of competency, and then to just pile on all of the continuity violations, all of the fucking absurdity of the writing, all of that shit, it just craters it. It just fucking puts it just puts it under the underground. There are no real redeeming aspects of this show, but
this is actually where the show starts to get funny.
That's true. And slightly
accidentally
more
funny,
and slightly more entertaining. I gotta say, the Mirror Universe stuff was more entertaining, on a very shallow.
Well, it's like if you were to rent a B movie, right? Mm-hmm. And this is very much a B. This is very much, honestly, more like a C movie.
Yeah.
That has a pretty decent amount of money being thrown at it.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah.
It's the Mirror Universe is very frustrating,
yes.
And from from a true fan perspective, it is unforgivably bad. And then from just I'm going to watch this and give it shit for what it deserves. It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
Of just idiotic, talentless nonsense.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's all terrible. Yeah.
All right. If anybody hasn't caught on yet, the Wednesday Night Gentlemen don't like this show.
Nope.
All right, episode number 11. Burnham launches a plan to meet with the rebels by walking into a trap where a dozen rebels who have laid an ambush with a superior amount of firepower, artillery, explosives, and an elevated position.
Yeah.
Somehow manage not to kill them.
Yeah.
At this point, I actually thought seriously about the scene in The Rock where the SEALs get gunned down in the shower.
Oh, yeah. That was brutal. Yeah.
Except it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But in this script, it said they all miss.
Yeah. They miss. And then also you should just lay down your weapons. And then, and then it's fine. Then it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because plot.
Yeah. Because of plot.
And
yeah.
The script called for it.
Yeah.
So following that, Ash gets in a fight with himself because he's Vok. They become friends. Burnham leaves. Ash fights Burnham, and then Burnham decides to Laura Roslin him into space over hurt feelings.
I was so excited and then immediately disappointed.
Yep, where he dies. But nope, he's saved just in the nick of time.
Yep.
Also, in what I would describe as not at all a coincidence, considering the incestuously small cast, Georgiou is the Emperor.
Of course she is. Yeah, of course she is.
In a series where the lead female role is named Michael, who would have guessed that the Emperor is a woman?
Yeah. I mean, of course. Of course. It's crap, stupid plot twist, fucking bullshit writing. Oh my God, it's Philippa. That must create a lot of problems for Michael.
It's going to.
Yep.
It's going to.
God, it's crap. But, I mean, I'm in love with Michelle Yeoh, so it's not a negative development for me. Because all the time I'm just like, man, that's Michelle Yeoh. That's awesome.
And we're gonna come to this in a couple of episodes. She wears an outfit that I thought was like, that's a pretty sharp outfit. Yeah. I mean, I thought it looked better when Eileen the Crow wore it in Bloodborne, but
oh yeah,
right.
Still
she walks in and she's in the big thing, and you're like, that looks exactly like Eileen the Crow.
It totally does. It totally
from
does.
Bloodborne. Wow, what great character design the first time.
Yeah.
I fucking love that game.
It is a great game.
Episode 12. Burnham goes to see Georgiou. She takes Lorca. Stamets is dreaming of his dead boyfriend and his other self who's evil.
Trapped in the mycelium, whatever the fuck.
Network. Yeah. It's called a network.
Yeah. I remembered mycelium. Didn't remember network. That's pretty sad. But
I think we may have learned in this episode that Lorca is evil.
Oh.
And that he
that
he
he's
wants
the
to
mirror.
overthrow the
Emperor. He's the mirror Lorca. Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, shocker.
That was
also
a big development. Yeah.
Honestly, as this particular episode was going on, I remember thinking they're gonna double fake us. Yeah. Because it's too fucking obvious.
I know. I know.
And then it happens anyway, and you laugh.
Yeah.
And then she's all butthurt about it.
No, but if this is maybe it's the next episode then, where we actually learn, because I really loved all of Isaac's speeches about destiny and all of that shit. I loved all of that. I was really into that. Maybe it's not this episode because it's that episode, and then he fucking dies. And you're like, great. Great. I love this character. I love his weird affiliation with Destiny and all of his stupid hopes and dreams that are fucking tied up in this grand story that he's invented for himself. What a great fucking person to follow around. Why don't you just kill him? Because this show hates characters. It hates fucking people.
It really does. It really does. This is actually I think the first time I laughed was when I saw Giorgio is the emperor, and I was just like,
well, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
It was like when they sewed Deadpool's mouth shut in Wolverine. You're like, yeah, this is the dumbest thing that could possibly happen.
Exactly
Why
what
not?
You should do. Yeah. Oh, son of a bitch. What episode are we on right now?
I think we are on 12. Whew. We only have 3 episodes left.
Okay.
Here we go. Thank God that they didn't order like a real season.
God damn, yeah. Can you imagine like 22 episodes? Fuck that.
So anyway, Lorca tries to overthrow the Emperor. Things happen. Stuff. Lorca dies. The Emperor is going to be taken out, but rather than see her go down in a blaze of glory,
just kill yourself now. Of course.
Burnham can't help but save Giorgio. They beam back to the ship and blow up Java's sail barge.
Fucking Burnham. God damn it.
One thing that we have overlooked, and this is the most unforgivable thing I've seen ever in Star Trek.
All right, okay.
And it may in fact be the most unforgivable thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Okay.
And we have talked extensively about X-Men Origins. You shot my brother in the back. He says it's okay. Go with the guy who shot me in the back.
Yeah, whatever. It's cool. Go. Yeah. Yes.
This is a moment that actually makes significantly less sense.
Okay.
A Starfleet officer fingers a sentient human being. And in the episode immediately before this, or maybe it's this episode, engages in outright cannibalism. And decides to save the person who is not only like irreconcilably racist.
Oh yeah.
But who also is a cannibal.
Yeah. I mean,
and who also murders something like 12 people in her presence for no fucking reason.
Yes.
She saves her, but she was completely willing to beam her boyfriend into space because he didn't tell her that he was a Klingon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Burnham is the worst character that has ever been in a television show.
You are not going to hear any argument from me on that. She is the most fucking self-centered and just selfish human being I think I have ever fucking seen in my every decision that she makes, every moral judgment, everything she weighs is completely fucking based on her totally selfish fucking emotions. That's it. That is what informs everything about her. That informs every decision she fucking makes. Has she had a personal experience with Giorgio? Then yeah. Then she's going to give Giorgio all of it's just fucking terrible. That's why she fucking decides to save Giorgio at the end. Mirror fucking Giorgio, because she feels like she failed her in the Prime universe. It's so fucking selfish. It is a selfish, self-centered attempt at redemption. And it's disgusting. It's just awful to watch. God, it's a person whose entire fucking worldview is just limited to their own experience. It's just fucking terrible. Like, what's gonna make me feel better? And can I define that in a way that almost seems universal? You know, that's her. That's Burnham. Like, it's fucking god awful awful, terrible, shitty fucking writing. It is consistent. I'll give the writers that. They write that bitch fucking consistently. But it is goddamn awful. It is just awful. And there's no fucking realization there whatsoever. There's no legit realization. And that's what's so frustrating about the show. I think the writers are actually on her side. And we're all supposed to be kind of on her side with this. And it's impossible to fucking be there. It's just impossible.
It is at this point, the series has entered into utter insanity.
Yeah.
And this was not one of the times that I laughed. It was just like, you're fucking kidding me.
I know,
because like,
right away, yeah.
It's the way that they frame the shot, the way that they played the music, and all the other stuff. You're like, oh, she's about to do something really stupid. Really stupid.
Stupid and selfish. Yeah. I cannot fucking stand that. I just cannot, because it does. That decision to save the Mirror Universe version of Georgiou is exactly the same kind of thinking that went into her decision to mutiny in the fucking first place. It's completely goddamn self-centered. It's completely based on her own fucking experiences. It doesn't remotely consider the ramifications beyond that. She's a fucking toddler. She's a toddler, and that is how these goddamn decisions are made. And that's what directs the entire fucking series. And that's probably part of why it's so fucking horrible and hard to follow. Like, it's like a fucking toddler making just decisions out of its own fucking self-interest. It's just frustrating as hell. Like, and it is so it is so the opposite of what Star Trek is supposed to be, and they still don't fucking get that. They do not understand that. Like,
I struggle with this, and this is one of the key points that I struggle with. It's like, I've talked to people and they're like, this is the best first season of any Star Trek that's ever been made.
That is absolutely insane.
And you're like, are you serious? Because the main character is an emotional, violent, irrational, cannibal.
She's a sociopath, like through and through, a fucking sociopath.
You drop her into the 20th century with any sort of weaponry, she's a serial killer.
Oh yeah, it's all over. Yeah, it's all over. It's all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to appeal to her and make sure that she thinks you're an okay person, and then, like, it's just, I hate that fucking character so much. Michael Burnham, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe that's what's so frustrating about the show for longtime Star Trek fans. Like, I think that her character is the antithesis to Starfleet. She doesn't have a fucking place in Starfleet. She cannot fucking be there. It doesn't make sense to have someone like that there, because she is totally incapable of thinking about the universe outside of her own experience of it. Everything is predicated upon her past, her trauma, and her fucking feelings. It is so centralized to Michael Burnham that it cannot possibly encompass Starfleet or the universe as a whole. It just can't do it. You can't have someone who is so fucking self-centered represent what Starfleet is supposed to be about. It's insane. It's just insane. It's the fucking, I don't know, it's like the definition of cognitive dissonance practically. Like, man, I'm amazed I can even get these phrases out.
Cognitive dissonance?
Because this is the bullet's been gone and the Suntory is now gone. So
oh man. I poured about 5 shots into my glass, and stuff. I am getting pretty close to the end of that. And I don't know, we might need a break.
She's I don't know. Am I wrong about this? I mean, she does seem to, like, the selfishness is what gets me. The self-centeredness, the solipsism, I feel like. This is a Michael Burnham universe, not a Starfleet universe, to me. That's where the values are made and judged and created. It's Michael Burnham values. It's not universe values. It's not Starfleet values. It's not anything beyond that. And that's what it's just suffocating, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to even argue with any point that basically is denigrating to Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
Because there's almost nothing that you can say that is just not like outlandish on its face that is unfair.
Yeah. And that's part of why, like, the fact that we have to deal with her being the one, especially in the series finale, making that fucking speech about how we're supposed to explore, new universes and new life and boldly go and all that shit. And you're like, no, because you're just going to exert your own sense of values and your own fucking will on whatever you come across. That's what you've been doing through this entire first season. And that's just what you're going to continue to do. And that is not even a little bit of what of what Star Trek is supposed to be about. We're supposed to see things in the universe that contradict our own values and that contradict our own judgments, things that challenge us as a species, and to consider them fairly and to not pass judgment and all of that kind of shit. That's what Starfleet's supposed to be about. She's not at all the fucking representative of that. Not at all. She has her own fucking goddamn opinions. She will do whatever the fuck she wants whenever she wants. That's not Starfleet. I'm sorry. You think Michael Burnham is the kind of person who could come up with a prime directive? Seriously? Like, there's no way. I don't
think so at all.
She'd probably find the prime directive totally fucking contrary to her own beliefs and practically sinful.
Well, her prime directive throughout this entire series is and this is okay, part of this is annoying because she was apparently raised on Vulcan and was apparently exemplary on Vulcan.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you say,
how?
What is Michael Burnham's prime directive? Michael Burnham's prime directive is to do whatever she feels.
Whatever she feels, literally.
Is her convenient.
Emotion,
not even right. Yeah. Convenient.
Yeah, convenient. Her emotions dictate every single fucking quota of her decision making. It's her fucking feelings. Every goddamn time. That's antithetical to what Starfleet is supposed to be about.
It's terrible, and like this part of Burnham's character isn't Sonequa Martin Green's issue. Sonequa Martin Green, I am completely convinced is not a good actress. She might be
Are you at this point? Yeah, I don't know.
Yes,
she's certainly not good enough to rise above shit,
but like that she's not good. She might be like middling or fair.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I would probably lean towards uninspired to bad at this point, but it's just like I got really fucking tired of her constantly, like, no matter what it is, she could be talking to a fucking replicator and it's like, I would like a bowl of rice now. And it's just like, take it down a notch.
I know,
okay,
I know.
Lady. It's like
that's exactly the melodramatic aspect of this show, and she's given all of that. Well, that's all of hers to do. Be fucking.
So some of it's like the whole Tim Russ thing. Like, I didn't think Tim Russ's Tuvok was a particularly inspired Vulcan.
Not inspired. I was fine with old Tim Russ. I got no problems with Tim.
He wasn't. No, but he wasn't inspired. He was kind of boring.
He was boring. He was boring.
And like, there's so many things that I really wanted to see. Like a Vulcan tactical officer. I wanted him to say some pretty. Okay, I understand that you and I may differ on this, but I wanted to see Tuvok say some completely Machiavellian nonsense.
So I can't.
And it's just like,
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And it's just like, I understand. Like, morality aside, this is how you win. Right. Morality aside, this is how you win.
Right.
I want to see that because like
fair.
that is scary.
That's
and
totally
you get
fair.
That with the. Actually, the first episode of this is called The Vulcan Hello, which I just remember now because it's convenient.
That's right.
what did the Vulcans do when they fought?
Shoot
when
first,
they fought the Klingons.
which was a pretty, and that was, God, I hate this show because that's actually a pretty decent insight to Vulcan logic, right?
Yes, they were like,
God
the only way
damn
that
it.
we can get them to respect us is to fuck them up and understand that we can meet them on their ground.
Yes. Spank them first. Yeah.
And that's how and it would have been so much better. And like Tim Russ, he was just like so vanilla.
I agree.
And like,
yeah.
what do you do as a Vulcan? You read the lines.
That's totally fair. Did he fail to live up to the potential of what a Vulcan officer, a Vulcan tactical officer could be? Yes, I absolutely agree with you on that.
And
yeah.
But like, if you had Tim Russ and he was playing Burnham as a woman, I guess.
Sure. Why not?
He would have been better.
Yeah.
But like, she was unforgivably stale.
I don't know. I don't know. So much of the worst writing, all of it was hers to just fucking own. And I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. Because I haven't, and maybe this isn't even really a topic worth discussing, because I've never seen Sinequa Martin Green in anything else. I don't watch The Walking Dead. I don't give a fuck. So, you know, I'm gonna take a pass on her quality as an actress, and at least recognize the fact that the writing for her and the character that she's been given to play is so fucking atrocious. I don't know how it could be saved.
I will say in response to that I have also not seen her in The Walking Dead, and that she may in fact be better than I think. But if the call was made and I had to put my chips down now, I would say that she is a middling to poor actress.
It's actually, looking at her, I have the same kind of feelings about her as an actress as I do toward Finn Jones in Iron Fist. Because you're like, I don't know if he's this bad, because I know that the writing is really bad. And I have no doubt that the direction is that he play all of this as emotionally and as whiny as fucking possible. So I just don't know that he even has the chance to rise above it. That's kind of where I am with Sinequa Martin Green as well. In fact, the characters of Danny Rand in Iron Fist and Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery probably would do pretty well together, because they're both fucking psychopaths of just raw emotion. And that is all that defines any decision they ever fucking make. And they're almost equally frustrating to fucking watch. And I have about as much sympathy for both characters.
Yeah. Very close to zero.
They're just garbage. They're just garbage fucking characters. It's a little more irritating because Michael Burnham is in Star Trek, and I actually care about Star Trek, and I don't really give a fuck about Iron Fist, but
that's part of your X-Men bias, though.
That's true. My God, if she oh my God, if she was an X character, holy shit. But
if she were Storm delivering all of her lines like that, you would be up the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that she would have much longer to live, but yeah.
Wow.
What episode are we on?
We are on 14.
Okay.
Do you want to take a break just for a minute so that I can make myself more comfortable?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I will insert the music.
Yay! So episode 14, we learned that the Discovery has returned to the real world 6 months later, which feels like about how much time we spent there.
Yeah.
The Federation is gone. No, wait. They are on their last hopes, the last ropes, maybe. I don't know. It's fucking hard to tell because it's really fucking sloppy.
Yeah.
The Klingons have fractured into 12 disparate groups, which each apparently attack the Federation for fun, and in spite of being divided, they're actually way more effective than they ever were before in mass. Which
it is an interesting, Well, one isn't it? It's 24 houses, right?
I thought it was 12. I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it was an interesting because you're like, well, they're fractured and they're not like they're not a whole Klingon race, but it's like they've all decided to attack the Federation in a kind of weird one-upsmanship. And you're like, well, that's a pretty convenient way to fracture, right? Like,
yeah. I thought it was.
It's stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
If you're playing Command and Conquer and you have the option of having one mammoth tank or 12 mammoth tanks that are
all attacking essentially the same target.
The one mammoth tank is either going to attack strategically, or the 12 mammoth tanks are just going to roll in like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I'd take the 12 mammoth tanks every time.
Yeah. I think you're gonna do pretty well.
So anyway, they talk to the Klingon chick that they captured. They see that they really don't have a chance to win, except that if they launch one last all-out strike on Konos.
Yeah.
The home planet. Fuck. It's getting deep into
Klingon
the
home world.
The home world of the Klingon Empire.
Empire such that it is, yeah.
They choose somebody to lead them. I laughed out loud.
Yes.
But they appoint none other than Lady Space Hitler, the Emperor Giorgio herself,
not?
George Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Hitler.
This is. I laughed so hard.
I didn't understand. It just fuck. Cause you're like, right? They chose her. Like I thought, okay, they chose her because she did this shit before. So she knows like the fucking caves and all that stuff, right? Like she has the intelligence to pull off the mission. But she doesn't have the intelligence to pull off the mission. She doesn't. They send her and Burnham and fucking Tyler to goddamn Kronos to collect the intelligence to pull off this mission. Don't forget about
Tilly.
And Tilly. And you're like, well, then why the fuck is she even in charge? It doesn't... She has nothing... She has literally nothing to offer on this mission. So why not put her in? I just... Another just piece of writing where you're like, I'm trying to make excuses for how stupid this is. So she has the fucking intelligence and she can pull this off. But then the writers are like, no, it's not even that smart. It's not even that smart. It's just stupid. Like,
I don't know. Like the whole purpose of this seemed to be that and this is getting into the next episode. The whole purpose seemed to be this was an episode that literally they just stood around and talked, which should have meant that it was better on a Star Trek scale than it was, because there's a lot of like conference room level stuff that happens in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And in this episode, it's just like, we're gonna set it up so next time Giorgio can have a 3-way with 2 green people.
Sure.
And like I understand why that might be fun to theorize about.
Plus 50. Still, though, right? I mean, it is.
I guess.
Like, literally, it's amazing. But, yeah.
It is pretty impressive.
I mean, that's a 50-year-old woman, and you're like, yeah, I do kind of want to see that. But, you know.
I'm not sure I'm all the way there, but I understand it. It's just...
Yeah.
It's just laughably stupid at the end of the day. It's just another It's just another dumb idea from a dumb fucking show. Episode number 15, the last episode.
The last goddamn episode.
So it turns out that when I described her as Lady Space Hitler, I did this actually before the airing of the last season, or the last episode of the first season for the first time. I was right. Her plan, unbelievably, is to genocide a planet.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, how they say it. I don't understand the idea of genociding a planet when they live other places also, but whatever.
Sure.
So apparently every Starfleet has a bunch of water balloon bombs that are conveniently capable of killing everyone on a planet so long as they have a molten core.
So, okay, wait. Batman Begins, right? It's the plot for Batman Begins, isn't it?
It is kind of, but on a planetary scale.
Sure, on a planetary scale, yeah. So we're not just Gotham City, but the whole fucking Kronos, yeah. Yeah.
And like, so when this happened, I thought immediately, well, that's fucking convenient.
Yeah.
And I also thought, well, that's fucking magical. And then
Yeah.
I thought, well, then why are the Klingons so butthurt about the Genesis project? Because like they can pretty much blow up any planet that anybody would want to live on anyway.
Yeah.
Why do they care about the Genesis project?
I don't know. Christopher Lloyd was like really into that though, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Doc Brown.
And so like from just a continuity point of view, you're just like, okay, so now they can blow up any or 90% of the planets that anybody would ever want to live on.
Yeah.
Including the Klingon homeworld.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So why? Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway. So as it turns out, Burnham manages to come up with a different plan.
Of
Giorgio
course she
just
does.
kind of gives up and runs away.
Yeah.
Instead of killing everyone on Konos, they decide to give the detonator of the bomb to a religious fanatic.
An absolutely psychotic fucking yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So our
It's
show
great.
ends.
It's mutual. It's kind of I kind of loved it just for like a reinforcement of the idea of the sort of mutually assured destruction. It's like you can kind of get, yeah, that's a pretty good basis for it's a good negotiating position, right? I won't blow everything up if you do
everything
do
that
what
I
I
say.
say. Yeah, it's a pretty strong position. You know?
So our show ends its first season as this fanatic talks to the Klingon High Council, which apparently meets in hell.
Yes, yeah.
And she says that she's in charge, or she's going to genocide the planet herself.
Because she has that iPad with her. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's a hologram iPad. So Burnham is reinstated to Starfleet, an organization that she never wanted to join.
Yep.
And given back her rank as commander.
Of course she is.
Which is a rank that she never earned.
Nope. I wonder why
everybody's happy.
why didn't the Shadow Council fucking, right? Shouldn't they have evaluated that? I feel like cloaked in shadow, Burnham, you are hereby reinstated to the Federation. Guess what?
They
We
flip the
promoted your ass
switch.
too. Like,
They flip the switch and all the balloons come out.
yeah, they just clap their hands and
confetti everywhere. In any case, episode or season 1 ends. Everybody is happy except for Christopher Pike because his radio doesn't work.
oh yeah.
See you on the next season, suckers.
Holy fuck. Yeah, so the Enterprise shows up while the Discovery is on its way to Vulcan, I guess, to pick up its new fucking shit show captain, I'm sure. And they run into the Enterprise, which has issued a distress signal for some fucking reason. As commanded by Captain Pike, with presumably First Officer Mr. Spock.
Well, he was first officer 6 months before this, and he's first officer 9.5 years later, so why not?
Yep. Son of a bitch.
Maybe, oh God, can you imagine? So Spock turns out to be the captain, but he's not ready to be the captain, so he kind of bungles his way through season 2.
Yep.
The worst of all possible realities. I won't put it off of the table.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, the only correct solution is for episode 1 to be like, Captain Pike issues a signal like, you know what? I pressed that distress button by accident.
Yeah.
Good luck, Discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking leave. And then we never see him again. Like, That's the best thing that could happen in episode 1 of season 2 of this goddamn show.
Well, the original theory was that Star Trek Discovery would shift position between seasons, and that you would get different views.
Yeah, that's what yeah, but apparently not.
I don't know.
I don't
like
know
that
either.
would be
I don't think they
great
fucking
if we never had to see any of these characters.
Oh,
again.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
And even though I don't trust anybody who wrote, produced, edited, or even fucking held the boom mic
I know.
of this show to do anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would prefer to see somebody pretend to be Captain Pike with his number one and his...
Could you imagine, like, if they actually had a decent bench of writers to, like, even redo or to explore the sort of Captain Pike years? If they could figure out, like, how to have decent writers on the show and a decent cast to do that, that would be, I mean, I'd be on board for that. It's just, God, the show feels like a fucking compromise to me, as it has for a while, between the fucking J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie watchers and the fans of the actual series. It just feels like a fucking compromise to me, and as such, it's a pile of shit.
Well, I don't understand. I do not understand the purpose of saying Captain Pike, because the only people who know who Captain Pike are. Well, I guess, I mean, you did have the
sure, that first movie, yeah,
the movies that kind of had him in it. It's whatever, but like most of the people who know who Captain Pike are people who've watched The Cage.
Yeah,
and we know who that is, or we've watched The Menagerie, certainly. Which kind of reuses a lot of that film. And actually kind of The Cage and The Menagerie are interesting to watch back to back, because they're kind of like two sides of the same argument.
Yeah.
And I love all three of those episodes.
Fuck yes, yeah.
But God, you have to think, like, if DC Fontana was dead, she would be rolling around in her grave. And certainly at this point, Gene Roddenberry's probably burrowed himself all the way to the core of the planet.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a fucking travesty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is.
And like there's no hope. There are no characters.
There are no fucking people. Yeah.
There's no consistency. Yeah. Like originally, like part of the reason why season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, arguably most of season 2, was not super great, was because Gene Roddenberry had a lot of influence in it, and he didn't want interpersonal conflict between his characters.
Right. Yeah.
This show is all interpersonal conflict, and it's all based on juvenile nonsense emotions.
Yeah, it's garbage conflict. It's fucking garbage. Like it's a show where like you look at something like DS9 and you're like, that's how you fucking do it. That's how you have people of varying opinions, and varying sense of values and ethics interact with one another. DS9 is the fucking pinnacle of that. For the Star Trek franchise. That's how you fucking do that. This show is basically a bunch of toddlers who think differently, and don't self-analyze, aren't self-aware, and that's what makes it so fucking basic and childish. It's just crap. It's not intellectually appealing in any fucking way. It's just basic and thoughtless and emotional, and I don't know, man.
I mean, honestly, when you say that, like, just like one of my favorite scenes in DS9 is where Garak walks into Quark's bar and Quark's like, I want you to try this root beer.
The fucking root beer scene. Yes.
The root beer scene, if the root beer scene was put in any one of these episodes, it would be the standout best scene of Star Trek Discovery.
It is
and
such
he's
a perfect metaphor. Yes. It's just
so bubbly and glowing.
insidious.
And insidious. Just like the Federation.
Yeah. You hate it, but you can't help to like it. It's just... That's such a fucking fantastic scene of that series. And goddamn, Star Trek Discovery is so incapable of bringing any kind of depth to a scene like that. It's just...
Well, it's more well written and it has better characters.
It does, yeah. Quark
Garak
is likable. Garak is likable.
And they're both
interesting.
characters that have intentional flaws.
Oh yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
And I don't know, there's kind of we'll swing around back to this, but let's talk for a moment on actually the characters of Discovery.
Okay.
So we've already talked about Lorca and Giorgio and Burnham.
Yes, I do have something for this, but yes, yeah.
What did you think of Culber?
Of who?
Exactly.
Of what? Of
Hugh Culber.
Who's Hugh Culber?
Hugh Culber is also known as Stamets' boyfriend.
Oh, the boyfriend. So, yeah. So he was relegated to doting fucking housewife, basically. That was his whole fucking goddamn persona. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about Reese?
Who's Reese?
Exactly. Did you like Kayla Detmer?
I don't know who that is either.
How about Joanna Oesekun?
Yeah, she was amazing, except I don't remember anything about her.
So these are all people who are credited with like upwards of 11 appearances on the show.
Yeah.
And they're completely fucking forgettable.
Yeah.
This cast is sorely misused, underused, and then when they are used, poorly written.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Yeah. Terrible.
Oesekun is I think you would consider her black lady who reads things off of a screen.
Okay, I remember her.
Detmer is half cyber lady who reads things off of a screen.
I thought she had potential. That was thrown away. Yeah.
Reese is Asian guy who reads things off of a screen.
Can't even picture him right now. Yeah.
And naturally, Culber is a gay boyfriend doctor who dies.
So here's I think the perfect example of how much Star Trek Discovery hates its characters and hates the idea that it even has to deal with trying to deal with people, as they are
humans.
So Stamets, they for some reason the writers decide to give a scene to Stamets confronting Ash Tyler, right? So Ash has killed his fucking, and I wasn't ever really clear if they were just like boyfriend and boyfriend or if they were fucking married or what. But so they decide to give him a chance. They decide to give Stamets a chance to confront Ash after knowing that Ash killed his fucking lover, right? They decide to give him that fucking scene.
Yeah.
And so in that scene, Stamets basically approaches him and says, well, do you feel bad about what you did? And Ash is like, yeah. And Stamets is like, well, good. And then he just leaves. And then he just walks away. And that's the whole fucking scene.
I was not bothered so terribly by that scene because on the one hand, you would expect that the people who wrote this show, considering everything else they've done, would just have it develop into fisticuffs in a hallway that's broken up by a couple of extras.
But what's problematic about that scene is that's all it's given. That's our entire exposure as an audience to Stamets actually dealing with the fact that someone on his ship has killed his lover, has killed his practical husband.
No, I get that.
That's all of it. We get that and nothing else. And that's the issue with that scene. It's the only one of its fucking kind. It is dealt with like nothing. It is dealt with in an obligatory manner and then immediately discarded. That's what's so problematic about this show. And that's where you really see how much disdain the writers have for their own fucking care, for having to deal with people and having to even consider the fact that people feel things, that they have complex emotions and they have complex motivations and all of that shit. They don't give a fuck. They're just like, hey, what if Georgiou was the fucking empress of the mirror universe? That's all they fucking care about. What if Ash was a goddamn Klingon? That's the shit they fucking care about. That's what they think the heart of Star Trek is. It's crap. It's crap. It's just meaningless plot twist bullshit crap. It sucks.
Yeah. I have so many issues with this show because, like, if you get what you said there was you go back to Valk and whatever.
Yeah.
And just like the lack of, I understand the argument that they don't want to deal with their characters as characters. We've named 5 characters that we can remember.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. You have Burnham, Georgiou, Lorca, Saru, Tilly, who's mostly
comic relief,
memorable because she's fucking annoying and occasionally awkward.
You know what? Kind of hot a little bit in the mirror universe, like with the straight hair. I actually kind of like a little hot. I want to mention that, but a little bit hot in the straight hair.
Moving on.
Anyway,
and L'Rell.
Yeah.
Who, thank God, was the first naked person in Star Trek.
Please kill me. That's nothing I ever wanted to see. Discovery, thank you for delivering that. It's something I never wanted to fucking ever see in my life.
What are we talking about? We're talking about Klingon rape scenes.
Yep. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate it.
And so they have no interest in that, but then, like, at the same time, they're also completely disregard canon and just like basic common sense. Like, you can tell the difference between a human and a Klingon on sensors from miles away.
Right? Yeah. You got your biosigns. Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly, if you're a doctor, you can tell the difference between ketchup and Pepto-Bismol.
What the fuck was that explanation? I just didn't scan you enough? No. What the fuck are you talking about? Upon my review. What the God damn it.
Well, we can't tell the difference between a human and a Klingon. Yeah. We can't triangulate a position.
You know, when I looked at it again, your bones are all fucked up. Like, what do you mean? That's an X-ray, right? Like, Starfleet has X-ray technology, I'm sure, because we do. Like, what the fuck?
Like, they're so consistently incompetent.
Stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid.
And the plot requires them to be so consistently. It's like if you and I were complaining about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In order for the plotline of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to move forward, you have to accept that everybody in the world is fucking awful at their job.
Yeah. Yeah.
The enemies,
the
villains, they're all incompetent.
Yeah.
The people who are trying to solve the problems, the people who are our heroes, they are completely incompetent also. And you just watch everybody bungle through life as though they're just some fucking blind rat walking into a wall. You're like, wow, this is great drama.
Yeah, every emotional fucking realization that they have. You're like, yeah, great. Like, holy shit, up is up and down is down. Oh my God, what a discovery. Like,
Star Trek Discovery. Up is up and down is down. Though I do strongly support that this episode be named Star Trek Discovery, the shittest show ever.
It is just god awful. It's just god awful. honestly, I've never watched a show that has such little interest in the characters that it's created. And it's I hate that it's like, seriously, I have started to think, like, you know, I've been to one Star Trek convention in Chicago and it was really fun. If I have to go to another and like Discovery people are there, I don't know. Like, I don't want to deal with that.
Like, you could deal with the Enterprise people because there were good episodes.
There were decent episodes of Enterprise, yes. And actually, I mean, as we discussed when we did our initial Discovery review, you know, I'm actually fairly high on the premiere episode of Enterprise.
Well, and they have good things. They have, like, the human Vulcan relationship
was good
particularly,
stuff. Yeah.
And like, honestly, next to Spock, Soval might be the best played Klingon.
Yeah.
Or not Klingon, but Vulcan.
Yeah.
In Star Trek history.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gary Graham just fucking knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely.
T'Pol's not so great.
No.
But T'Pol on this show would probably seem like a breath of fresh air.
I don't know. Maybe Archer is still
probably
a lunatic, but even still, he's better than Burnham. So. And that's saying a fucking lot, because he's a genocidal maniac, and, you know, god damn it.
But the thing is, like, this show ends on such a fucking bizarre note because it doesn't even understand that Burnham, who is herself now a cannibal, is delivering a speech where she says, you know, all of these things that we believe in, and it's like, it's interposed with these shots of L'Rell, and she's giving a speech about how if you don't do what I want because the Federation gave me the ability to genocide all of you, I will kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, she's giving this high-minded speech about what the Federation's all about, while basically having handed over an entire planet to a terrorist hostage-taking psychopath.
Yeah. It's completely fucking, like, it's almost like they want to explore the kind of themes that DS9 explored, particularly in Sisko's, you know, in the Pale Moonlight episode, one of the most fucking brilliant episodes of Star Trek, where you see a Federation fucking officer engaging in a kind of moral compromise to preserve not only the existence of the Federation, but the ideals of the Federation itself, right? That episode has so much fucking weight behind it. It's so well done. It's so brilliant. And it's done on such a brilliant level because so much of it is based on the idea that Sisko himself is kind of lying to himself a little bit. And that scene with Garak and Sisko where Garak's like, I know the reason that you fucking asked me to engage in this plot is because you knew that I, as a Cardassian, could do the fucking things that you couldn't do as a Federation officer. That shit is fucking brilliant because it speaks to Sisko as a character. It speaks to how much he believes in the ideals of the Federation and how much he wants to believe in himself as a good person. And yet he is engaging this sort of demon in the form of Garak to do the thing that needs to be done to ensure the preservation of the Federation and his own species. It's so fucking brilliant. Discovery, it just doesn't hold a candle to any of, like, that is the kind of morally and complex stuff that DS9 did so fucking well that Discovery tries to kind of ape but falls so fucking far short of it that it's just insulting. It's just completely insulting. It's just, God, that episode is so amazing of DS9 because it engages it engages on a moral, on a kind of universal ethical level, and such a deeply fucking personal character level that Discovery just can't figure out how to fucking do, because they don't care. They don't really give a shit. They just
So I want to take what you've said and I want to respond to it.
okay.
And I want to pile on.
Okay.
So earlier you were talking about how Burnham does not belong in Starfleet.
I know.
And immediately I thought of, like, for me, like, the quintessential Star Trek is TNG. And it may just be because when we were in our formative years, this was on.
Right.
But then there are so many really well written episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Fuck yeah.
And I thought immediately, Burnham is basically made the commander of the Shenzhou. She's the second officer or the first officer on the ship. And it's just handed to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to work for it at all. At a certain point during Star Trek The Next Generation, and I do not remember what season this is, but I think it's called Coming of Age, I think it is.
Okay.
It stars Wesley Crusher.
Oh boy.
Wesley Crusher is, as you say, oh boy, not exactly the most well-renowned character in all of Star Trek, but I thought he was in a couple of really good episodes.
Yeah.
One of which he's sent to an outpost, and he has to his purpose there is to see if he can become a Starfleet member.
Okay.
There's supposedly an accident. There's alarms going off. He runs down a corridor. He finds some people behind, a bulkhead. Some of them are pinned down.
Oh,
and he has
to. Okay.
He has to save one person and leave another one to die.
Yes.
Just like his father was left to die by Picard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's such a great character moment.
Yes.
That this is just a psychological evaluation that Starfleet has put together to fuck with this kid.
Yeah. It's weirdly duplicitous on Starfleet's part, but it has like just great fucking moral and character weight behind it. That
Yes.
Yeah.
When the chips are down, Wesley Crusher is going to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He is worthy of being a Starfleet member.
Yes.
I don't think that Burnham would have made the same decision.
No.
And I don't think at any point she comes within fucking miles of even anything.
Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not.
And that's a show with Wesley Crusher.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't like Wesley Crusher. And I kind of like,
why do people do drugs,
I understand.
Tasha? Oh my God, because you're a piece of shit. Fucking Wesley is why. You are the fucking reason, Wesley Crusher, that people do drugs, you son of a bitch. Like, yeah. I agree.
I like some of the Wesley Crusher stuff, and I understand that it is not a popular opinion, and that Will Wheaton is also kind of a lunatic
Will Wheaton's
in his own right.
Whatever.
But like, Coming of Age is a good story, and it's a great arc for young Wesley.
Yeah.
And like, you don't get any of that. You don't get any sense that Burnham earned any of this stuff. So when she's given back her rank, it's just like, who fucking cares?
You're just like, of course, that's the end of this series. So of course, that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
She might as well have been given a participant ribbon.
Yeah.
And it's just nonsense. Every kid gets to bat. There's no outs. We're not keeping score.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to be the first officer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I agree. It doesn't mean anything. She hasn't realized anything about herself. And that's what's like. So, okay, to address her speech in the last episode, there is an overture or a kind of lip service to the idea.
It's a shit speech.
It is a shit speech, but it's to the idea that she acted out of a selfish motivation when she decided to commit mutiny in the first episode of this series. So what we're supposed to understand, I think, is that she has realized that she has that in the first part of this series, she compromised her fucking values to do a first strike against the Klingons and to do what she thought was right and all that shit against policy and stuff like that. And that now on the other side of this, what we're supposed to see is that like what this series, what the moral value that the entire first season of this show has been designed to illustrate is that an anything goes in the efforts of survival is not the policy of the Federation, right? That our values are supposed to be higher than that. None of that feels fucking correct to me at all. Like none of that feels fully realized in this entire series. That like the survival
stupid, because if you look back at Battlestar Galactica, are we worthy of survival?
Yep.
Like
there's a show that did it better. Yeah.
And it's even more on the nose and it still does it better.
There's a show that exemplifies it so much more fully than this fucking show managed to do. Because you still, at the end of this, you still have the fact that Burnham decided to save Mirror Universe fucking Georgiou. It's still coming from this completely fucking selfish understanding of what is capital R right and what is capital W fucking wrong. That's still what's dictating her fucking point of view. There is no real, I think, realization, and that's why it feels like lip service to me. She still doesn't understand, and the writers still don't understand, that so much of her decision making has been completely fucking selfish from episode 1 until the final fucking episode of this series. It's all built on her own self-centered fucking perspective of what is right and what is wrong. And that's not Starfleet. Yeah. That's not fucking it's not Star Trek. Like, it's not any one individual's fucking goddamn understanding of this shit. And it's not so rooted in emotion.
So many of the good episodes, so many of the good scenes, so many of the good points that Star Trek makes, particularly in The Next Generation, which I've already discussed that I love, is rooted in the sort of boring, just sitting down and talking about things as ideas.
Yeah.
And I understand that you don't see Star Trek at its best as a morality play, but in a lot of ways I do. And
it's more than that, but
there's
it's more
there's
than
extra stuff with it, but like a lot of this, it's very interesting to see people talk through these sort of a lot of it's just thought problems.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And thought problems are interesting, and they can expose like the strengths and weaknesses of different positions. And like you think that eventually there's going to be a position that you can articulate that can perfectly encapsulate everything. You'd kind of hope that anyway.
That's the ideal. Yeah.
but like you never get close to that. No. You never even try. Was there ever a scene where people were sitting down at a table?
No, there was no legit exploration in any episode of this fucking series.
And even if they were standing, like I think you're episode 14 by the time they're standing around and all they're talking about is how badly they're losing.
Yeah.
And then their solution to that is to appoint Hitler to rule the empire.
Yeah.
And you're just like, come on.
Yeah. It makes no sense. It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. If she didn't already know what the tactical fucking approach was, then fuck it. Like, it's just, God, it's so it's a frustrating fucking series, and it seems to just so entirely miss the mark.
But we're gonna get season 2. Yeah. I can't fucking wait.
Look, all 4 seasons of fucking Battlestar Galactica are a better Star Trek show than Star Trek Discovery. You know,
I would rather watch a compilation of Scar in every episode.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Give me Scar. Give me the fucking Black Market episode.
if you watch the Black Market episode and you watch Scar, and for viewers, this is a pet peeve of Midget Radio because he thought that these were ideas that were essentially very interesting that were never expanded upon.
That's the only problem with them. They were good ideas, not sufficiently expanded on. I mean,
these are really
is that? Like,
these are really good ideas.
yeah.
If you put the Black Market episode and Scar and every shit one-off thing, you could fucking put Hilo as anti-plague,
oh my god,
whatever thing.
Part
it
1 and
still,
Part 2. Hilo stops genocide. Part 1, Part fucking 2. Like,
they would still be the best episodes of the series.
Yes, they would.
Because I'm not entirely convinced that Hilo is a more unlikable character than anybody other than Lorca, except for the fact that he's also aspiring Hitler.
Hilo is the fucking worst.
He is.
You know what he's better than, though, is Michael Burnham.
Michael Burnham. And part of the thing that annoys me about this, and this
God.
I am absolutely fucking tired of the meta conversation that is surrounding things that happen like Star Trek Discovery, because I pay attention to like Star Trek news. I pay attention to the stupid nonsense that's posted on Star Trek social media. And like so many people are like, I don't like Michael Burnham. And then the next thing you see is you're a fucking racist. Or I don't like Stamets. It's like you're a homophobic person. Or I don't like Ash Tyler. It's like you're Islamophobic, even though he's not a Muslim.
I guess he is a little olive in skin tone.
Well, I mean, like if
so am I.
I think the guy is. I think the actor himself is maybe Middle Eastern in some amount in origin.
like fucking Bashir, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like nobody fucking cares who watches Star Trek. It's like these are people who I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like Stamets because he's an unmitigated asshole. God. I don't like Michael Burnham because she's an emotional, violent psychopath who eats people.
Yeah.
I cannot like Ash Tyler because his character doesn't make any fucking sense.
Douchebag. Who gives a shit? Yeah, he's a fucking douchebag. Yeah.
And you see the people and they get on there and they're immediately like, if you don't like Michael Burnham, you're a racist. If you don't like so-and-so,
I mean, that's the fucking internet.
And it's so stupid.
It is stupid.
These people who are perpetuating this are essentially so prejudicial in their own worldview that they can't see through that people can say, I don't like a person for reasons that are not, inherent to their, appearance or sexuality or whatever.
Yeah.
And even though they can have those other traits, I can dislike them because they're fucking asshole. Yeah. They're a terrible character. Yeah. They're a cannibal.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, you can't dislike black people if they're cannibals.
Yeah.
You're like, you absolutely fucking can.
Yeah.
And cannibalism is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Gene Roddenberry probably agrees with me. Eating other people is wrong.
It's probably a pretty bad idea. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just...
That's the fucking internet. I mean, I'm not going to fight back with you at all on that. I do kind of like Stamets. I think probably I like that actor more than I like the character of Stamets. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like he's capable of a lot more than he's being given to do.
Oh, he's absolutely capable. Because like he was not giving bad performances. No. He was saddled with a character that was completely unlikable and was written like I feel like the people who wrote this show, if you were to write down what's your favorite fucking movie, like 9 out of 10 of them would be like Crash because everybody's shitty.
Well, yeah, that's a fucking horrible, just pile of shit, just a fucking dog shit movie. But yeah,
how is this movie? How are the characters in this Star Trek series any different than the characters in Crash?
They're not.
They're not fucking not.
It's mostly manipulation and it's crap. It's crap. God damn it. Yeah. Because I feel like Stamets has potential. I just feel like it's that entirely that fucking actor. And I think what's so frustrating about the way they portrayed Stamets and the way they portrayed particularly that scene between him and Ash is that you're like, what were Stamets' feelings toward his lover, right? Because they seem almost fucking ancillary when you look at this series as a whole. It doesn't really crush him in any significant way that his husband or boyfriend or whatever was killed on this ship nobody would react to that in the way that Stamets reacted to that in this show. If my wife was fucking killed, right? Like by this piece of shit son of a bitch who has basically no fucking character, and he felt bad about it, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a modified Klingon. Oopsie. I accidentally killed the fucking person that gives you any fucking sense of meaning in this life. Like, you would go absolutely goddamn ballistic. That's what fucking love is. It's how people react. Like, it's just what the fuck, man?
I get it, and I.
So you feel like you even.
I'm trying not to laugh as you describe it, but you're completely right from a modern point of view. But like the one thing,
God,
like when I watched that scene, and like they try to have their dramatic moment, whatever. I gave it a forgivable pass because honestly, I thought, if he was a Starfleet character in a real Star Trek movie or scene, he would find a way. Even if, like, when you're asking Worf to give, his ribosomes to a dying Romulan, he says, fucking no.
Right, fuck that,
and then he's
Romulan.
like, you know what, I'm going to do it. But he dies anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see, like, Starfleet characters overcome the sort of personal, petty things that you and
that's the key. The fact that they can overcome and that you fucking see it happen. That's the key. Yeah.
And like when I saw that scene, I thought, like that's at least a glimpse of what Starfleet is actually about.
It is a cheap overture. Yeah.
I know. And we can get into like like I understand that you hate the Orville because you don't think that it's worthy.
Well, there aren't people there, but yeah, I still don't feel like there are people there.
I am fairly certain that the Orville takes its characters more seriously than this show.
Well, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't argue against that. Yeah.
And that the Orville is, if you were to take a choice between this and the Orville, you would choose the Orville every time.
Oh God,
as a Star Trek person, because at least there are people on that, and even if they're recycling plots, at least they understand the fucking source material.
Yeah. Even if those characters will left turn into what's the easiest fucking joke I can make right here. Yeah. I mean, that's the only issue I have with the Orville. I think it will sacrifice its fucking characters for jokes every fucking time. But still, yes, is it better than goddamn Discovery? God, if we had to pick between the two. If that's the fucking world that we live in right now.
We live in that fucking world.
God damn it. Yeah, I'll make that fucking choice. I'll make that goddamn decision to pick the fucking Orville if that's all I've got. Still holding out for season 2 of Star Trek Continues, but
it's done, man.
I know.
It's done.
I know it is.
It's so good.
It's really good. It's really fucking good.
Did you think that like the whole thing wrapped up? Like
I still need to watch the last, I think, 2 episodes of that series, but yeah.
Maybe we need to do a show on that.
Yeah, sure. That would be a much more pleasant conversation.
God, even in failure, you could tell that the people who were doing it,
they fucking
loved
care.
the material.
Yeah, they give a shit. That makes such a difference. Yeah.
Like seriously, there's fucking 13 hours of this goddamn show, which is a shit show from the beginning to the end. Yeah. And then at the end, I guess somebody in the back of the room was like, "Hey, you could mention Christopher Pike."
Yep.
And then they were like, "Oh, we'll mention Christopher Pike.
Brilliant.
Therefore, it's all, wrap it up in a bow.
Yeah.
Season 2, We don't have to worry about who's cast as Christopher Pike,
Yeah.
and we don't have to worry about who's gonna play Spock.
Who's gonna play Spock?
Hey,
what
Can
poor
we get
bastard?
can we get-
What thankless motherfucker is gonna have to play that role? Like,
can we get some fucking guy to play
yeah,
Spock?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Maybe we can come up with a legitimate excuse why he's not in the show.
You know
Fuck
what?
you, CBS.
Fuck it. Why don't we just recast him? Why don't we just recast it as like a fucking female transvestite fucking Asian? Why not? That's Spock now. Well, who gives a shit any fucking more? It just doesn't matter. Like,
We're gonna rename him. He's gonna be Spick. He's gonna come from Sicily.
who gives a shit? God,
It's
it's crap. It's crap.
this show is utter shit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it totally is. There's nothing redeeming about it. Any positive thing that I have to say about it is just searching for fucking diamonds in a total pile of shit. And I mean, not to denigrate too much, I mean, Isaac's performance,
Not even
fantastic.
possible, sir.
I know it's
not
I
even
know,
possible.
It's really not. But like, Isaac's performance is great. No, it is not worth sitting through this entire series for. There's nothing.
Would you recommend that our viewers
No.
subscribe
No.
to CBS All Access
No.
for the purposes of watching this show?
Absolutely not. This is crap. This is I remain of the belief that this show is the product of some producer or whomever who decided that we need to kind of split the difference between the Abrams Star Trek moviegoer and the fucking regular Star Trek fan. We need to split that fucking difference and find some sort of homogenized version of that. And that's Star Trek Discovery. It's crap on both sides of the fence. It's a perfect product of a committee. It just sucks. It's nobody's fucking vision of Star Trek. I think it's some shitty corporate fucking goddamn version of what Star Trek is supposed to be. And what's depressing about that is that apparently it has fucking worked well enough to give us a season 2. And that's, I mean, that
This
tells
is the
you,
thing that really
I don't
annoys
know.
me.
I mean, it's just,
when you see people on like the Star Trek Facebook or the Star Trek news sites or the the Star Trek.com, they'd say, well, we have to support it to get more Star Trek.
Yep.
And it's like,
yeah,
I mean, like if you had a thing that undermined everything that you stand for, but it was labeled
it
appropriately.
was labeled. Yeah.
Does that mean that it's appropriate to support?
Yep.
And the answer is clearly no.
It's definitely no if you have any fucking integrity. Yeah.
I mean, to go back to the etymological roots of undermine, if you said, I have a castle
Yeah.
and season 7 series 7 of the castle is somebody builds a tunnel under my castle and ignites explosives beneath it.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea? You'd say fucking no.
Yeah.
But I call my effort a castle.
Yeah.
And it's just dumb.
Yeah, it is.
It's just
I agree.
fucking dumb.
I agree.
And it's like, I see blue people and I see people with ridges on their head.
Yeah. They call
Somebody
themselves
said
Klingons.
Christopher Pike.
Oh my
and
God, Christopher Pike! I remember that.
NCC 01701.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's the numbers. That's the numbers. Yeah.
I felt chills and I got an erection. I masturbated into a toilet for 50 minutes.
Yep.
Fucking just,
Yeah.
it's just fucking garbage.
I agree.
I can't.
I agree.
Tactic Angel is triggered.
No, we're part of the Star Trek fandom is fucking part of the goddamn problem. And yeah, my buddy, my Star Trek buddy, who I love so much, here, even she was like, she was deliberately forthcoming about the kind of fan service that was at the end of this episode where they meet the Enterprise and it's commanded by Captain Pike. She's like, they got me. I mean, they got me with that, and I know it's wrong, and I don't want to see it in season 2. But I was really excited when they did that, and it's like, I know,
hell, it's like it's the worst. It is the fucking worst part of Star Wars. So Star Wars Rogue One is a fucking great movie.
Yes, it is.
And then it ends with like 3 minutes of just fucking fan service.
Darth Vader,
and you're like,
badassery,
this is all
this
stupid.
Is when they got the plans. Yeah. Oh my God, it's like the New Hope. Yeah.
Star Wars, the Death Star, the plans, Millennium Falcon. It's got the lightsaber. It's so, like,
I know.
You're so dumb.
I know.
You're so dumb.
I agree.
Literally, you can't just say, here's a thing that I've seen before that I like, and therefore I like this thing.
So I'm gonna buy it. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I fucking know. And I don't know if there's like a little bit of maybe self-examination that needs to happen where the Star Trek fans need to realize the fan fucking triggers that those little levers that these assholes are fucking pulling to get us to watch these fucking shows over and over again. That I don't know. But I know that when season 2 of Discovery comes out, I'm gonna watch every episode. Probably not gonna pay for it, but I'm gonna watch every episode. Like, I'm gonna watch it.
You are part of the fucking problem.
You are gonna watch it too, you motherfucker. You are gonna watch it too. Like,
I can.
That's the issue. That's how it fucking works.
We'll see, because like,
because we gotta fucking, I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on the franchise. Like,
here's the thing. I have severely damaged the composition notebook that I usually write in while we're talking. And that's because I threw it across the room.
That's an appropriate reaction.
I feel like we're coming to an end.
Yeah.
This fucking show is not worth watching.
No.
You should not watch the fucking season 2.
No.
Even if we watch the fucking season 2, you should
correct.
know better than to listen to us.
You absolutely should. Yes. The proper action at this point is to not watch season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. It's absolutely the right thing to do. I'm not going to do that, and you're not going to do that. We're both going to watch this fucking season, but the correct thing to do is to not fucking watch it. Because
we'll see. I mean, like,
you're gonna fucking watch it. We're both gonna fucking watch it because it's gonna be
no. I'm not gonna watch it if I have to break the law in order to watch it. I watched this for free because I came up with solutions that allowed me to watch it.
Yeah, those solutions are fucking questionable. I mean, we could do an entire episode of Wednesday Night Gentlemen examining the ethical fucking implications by which you decided to watch this series without fucking paying for it. But, you know,
I did pay for it.
Kind of. Way. But not really. In
any case, are we done with this show?
Yeah, we probably are. Star Trek, I miss you.
I hope that they make a Star Trek series because it's been a long time since we've had a Star Trek series.
It's been a really long time since we've had a legit Star Trek series. That's very true. Yeah.
No, a Star Trek series. We're just going to say a Star Trek series.
Okay. I mean, Star Trek continues, but yeah.
Yeah, other than fan films, which have pretty much been hacked to pieces because CBS is a bunch of fucking assholes.
Because they're like, wow, these people are better than us, but
yeah. Wow, Axanar actually looks like it might be good.
Oh, yeah.
We better shut it down.
We need to shut that down so we can make our shit.
CBS, if you're listening, I have two fingers raised to you, sir.
I love it.
There's one on each hand, and you can guess which one they are. But this has been episode number 46 of the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. Wow, none of this seems to really apply after this point. Because we've just been like...
Say the things. Say all the things. Make this professional.
We have been fucking hating on this for a long time.
Wednesday night
please give us a like if you've enjoyed our video or subscribe to our channel. You can also find us on Twitter at WNG_MME_OPC, or head on over to the Facebook page. We're simply the Wednesday Night Gentlemen. Thank you everybody for watching, and make sure to listen to us again on episode number 47 of the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire.